We waited so long, but we'll wait forever.
You ain't so tough with that bad boy tuck. I'ma get it how I'm living, I'ma walk the walk. Outline my lines, I rap through thought.
Wagwan, you little langtings, and welcome back to Football Therapy with me, your host, Jan. I do hope you do well, mate. I really do hope that. Welcome back to Chelsea News, the daily series here on the channel. We'll have a look at what's been said about Chelsea across the media, give my thoughts on it, extend, and learn to speak English, and we move through the content together. Stumbling on my words already. Happy birthday, Chelsea Football Club. 120 years old. Would you Adam and Eve it, mate? 120 years. The club released a wicked edit, to be fair. Many people have seen on social media of Chelsea through the years. Lovely stuff. The biggest and best club in London. 120 years. Hopefully, here's to another 120. You know, what a wonderful history. I'm thankful to my old man for being Chelsea, get me into it. And when I was a little kid, my best mate and his father also Chelsea fans. And yeah, let's hope that we can get back to a little bit more ways that we've been recently used to of just consistency, believing and connecting with the team a little bit more, like we have over the previous 20 years. I'm hopeful that can happen, but, you know, we need to be convinced. Of course, you've got people like Reece James, Chelsea captain, doing interviews of late. You know, there is, and I know I've done a video recently about the Real Madrid links with Enzo Fernandez, but he's looking more and more Chelsea, isn't he? His performances, his leadership, the way he just clearly cares. I'm a huge Wes Fofana fan, seeing him back. Was it Marseille, his club, or Saint-Etienne in France, where he considered going back to Ligue 1, but, you know, he is a Chelsea fan in terms of Premier League. Just positive stuff that I want to see more and more, that Chelsea fans can identify with the team. I'm going to talk a little bit more about the Leicester game today, but also react to some stories. Disassi could stay at Villa, but he's actually got a lot of interest. And interesting to see Cy Phillips on his X account speak about Jobe Bellingham. Yeah, so the younger Bellingham, Chelsea in for him. I'm not sure how much sense that would make, but we'll see what happens there. We're going to get into it, guys. I just realised Chelsea play Sunday, or should I say I knew that. I realised my birthday is on Sunday. I turned 36 years old. What, yeah, you don't look 36? Oh, thank you. I turned 36, and Chelsea are going to ruin it, aren't they, by losing to Arsenal? Oh, man. I tell you what, should we, hopefully, touch wood, beat Copenhagen again on Thursday, and any result, a draw against Arsenal would be actually 4 wins, and then not having a bad result against Arsenal could actually put us in a strong position, to the point where after the international break, a few players come back, you know, Lavia, Nicholas Jackson, you know, Fofana looks like ready to go again. Hopefully, oh God, I pray, hopefully Cole Palmer, the international break will do him good, and we might be in a better position to, I don't know, have another good result against Tottenham and beyond. So we're going to get into all that today. This has kind of been an intro, but it's been a long talk, I suppose, at the beginning of this video. Kind of a football therapy introductory segment. A little reminder that if you do want to support the content, super simple, man. You just drop a like on the video, and subscribe if you want to. Hit the bell if you choose to. Oh yeah, let's get into it. Alright, so quickly, I'm going to read this admittedly translated article from Foot Mercato. Whenever you read a translated article, sometimes it sounds a bit peculiar, fragmented, broken English. And although I can read a bit of French, I will spare you of that. So this is Foot Mercato, and it's speaking about Axel Disassi, who of course is on a 6-month loan at Aston Villa. His thunderous debut impresses Aston Villa, writes Joshua Broken. Oh, what happened to you, Josh, mate? Where did it all go wrong? Loaned by Chelsea on February the 3rd, Axel Disassi quickly won over everyone at Aston Villa, an undisputed starter since his arrival in Birmingham. I'll be completely honest, I needed to burp then, so I paused the recording. I've just eaten. Yeah, undisputed starter because they've got an injury crisis at centre back. The French international has been putting in a string of high-flying performances and is already attracting interest. What if Aston Villa were the big winners of the last transfer window? One thing is for sure, the Villa Park residents can now boast of having sniffed out a few good deals in the last winter window. And for good reason. If the current 7th in Premier League is well on the way for qualifying for the quarterfinals in the Champions League, victory against Bruges, of course they did well against Bruges, and they've got Rashford and Asensio, of course. Can I just say, they need to do well, Villa. I've heard some financial or footballing experts talk about, a lot of us rival fans have looked at Aston Villa with green eyes, really jealous that, they brought in a Galactico and Asensio, a player with a high upside in Marcus Rashford that just needed a different environment. Other players as well, including Axel Disasi. By the way, it doesn't surprise me at all that Disasi is winning over Villa fans because he's that kind of player. He's a good guy, but he's kind of like a bit more of a blood and fundus penalty box defender. He's a good defender. He perhaps just doesn't suit us. Chelsea fans love Disasi when he was scoring goals, when he was jumping in with the fans against Palace. Like he's easy to, when things are going well, for the fans to connect with. He's one of those kind of players, so it doesn't surprise me. But I digress slightly. The whole situation with Villa, I think I've said this recently on a video, that they've got the highest turnover to wage ratio, as in they pay the most in wages in terms of how much they generate, to the point where it's actually put them in like a precarious financial position. So say they don't qualify for the Champions League, which they could definitely finish top 5, but say they don't, they will be like, oh God, do you know what I mean? Because they would have been in a position where they've spent all this money, these high expensive loans. Understandably, Villa are going all in on Unai Emery because he's working miracles, and he's that kind of manager that demands sort of full control at a club. But just say, I'm not endorsing the fact how my club Chelsea didn't get any form of reinforcement in January. I was very frustrated and upset, and I think that's put us in a tricky position. And this is not me saying this, but the hierarchy at Chelsea, should we qualify for the Champions League next season, as we are, they will see our January window as a huge victory because they didn't get bent over a barrel for anyone, or they're in a stronger position to get someone else in the summer at a better price. Oh, my cat's going. Sorry, that was very dramatic. My cat just got chased in to the cat flap by, ops on the street, a different cat. It's a jungle out there, man. Look, not that I'm endorsing the decision to not get anything, but they'll see it as like, look, we kept our powder dry. We're in a stronger financial position. Villa are in trouble now. Do you know what I mean? Possibly. I'm not endorsing it. I don't think it's worth the risk. I think we should have just... I'm the kind of person that, West Ham got Evan Ferguson on loan. I would have got him on loan. Do you know, I would have done anything. Yes, I know they got... The 2 strikers got injured on the last day, but still, I would have just got someone. I would have. Anyway, it's pointless. Woulda, shoulda, coulda. Anyway, quartered by several teams this winter, the French defender Axel Disasi, of course, went to Villa. And Villa are interested, by all accounts, in keeping him, apparently. And not just Aston Villa. Apparently, he's got lots of other suitors. Now... this doesn't surprise me so much because I don't think I know he doesn't have the streets at Chelsea, Disasi, but I think largely he just didn't suit us at all. I do think there'll be certain teams that see a big, strong, capable defender who can score at set pieces as well and be like, yeah, this guy, this guy's worth the 35 million quid or whatever we end up selling him for. So, yeah, I wish him all the best. I think he's the kind of player that when... he scores a goal for your club, he'll celebrate wins in blocks. And it doesn't surprise me that not just Aston Villa, that other clubs are also in for Axel Disasi. And that's kind of fortunate because in recent videos when we were talking about like Raheem Sterling, like what the ruddy heck are we going to do with him? Ben Chilwell, he hasn't really done much at Palace yet. We'll see how he if he can increase his time towards the end of the season. I might even do some, maybe later this month or even in April or even in May, really, do like a stats analysis of Chilwell's time at Palace and see how he's doing. But, I'm assuming if Bournemouth qualify for, let's say, again, they could finish 5th, Champions League for 4th or whatever. But let's say they get Europa League. I wonder if they'll buy Kepa. I know he made that blunder against Son yesterday and conceded the penalty, but I just wonder they'll look at him and say, look, he's the guy who's been in goal that we've been playing well with. You know, he's going to have a cheap buyout clause. He'll sign a new deal on lower wages than Chelsea. But yeah, I don't see Disassi anywhere near the difficulty as like a Raheem Sterling, and it's good that he's got suitors. And kind of next season, I know we've been waiting way too long for this squad to be complete, but it's kind of getting to the point now that if we are genuinely all in on Maresca, then by next season, there's kind of almost like no excuse for personnel. Do you know what I mean? Because you've prepared for this guy, you've got loads of options, you've got players coming back from loan like Andre Santos, who's very, very good. You've got superstar kiddies joining like, you know, Esteval. You can make your final couple of signings of this guy and that guy. You know, don't swear. Don't swear. S word or get off the pot. Right, so I do want to cite this really interesting thing. I mean, it doesn't surprise me because it's a young, talented player that this Chelsea would want. But yeah, Cy Phillips, who does have good connections with Chelsea sources. He's got an X account. He's got a news website. He's written on his Chelsea.news about Jobe Bellingham. Jobe Bellingham. Chelsea are reportedly among the trio of European heavyweights. So what governs a European heavyweight? Is it like any Champions League team, I suppose? I mean, we're not currently a Champions League team, but you know what I mean. You're either like a Man United, because they're still a European heavyweight, aren't they, in terms of brand and name and whatever, or you're actually just a team playing in the Champions League. Maybe that's it. Eyeing up a move for Sunderland star Jobe Bellingham, who is the brother, of course, of England star Jude Bellingham. It does look like Sunderland are in with a crack of getting promoted back up into the Premier League, of course. However, it's said, excuse me, my brain, he's said to have earned interest from a number of clubs, and it's claimed Chelsea are prepared to outbid any suitor. I mean, fine. It's reported Chelsea are keen to maintain a strong domestic contingent in their squad. As we know, signing young before they become too big and too expensive is the Chelsea recruitment way these days under the new ownership. So a move like this would not surprise us at all, indeed, and it may end up being a very smart one, especially if he does end up following in the same successful path as his older brother, who is now smashing it at Real Madrid, of course. Difference being, Jobe Bellingham is, how old is he, 19? He's 19, I believe, and he's playing in the Championship. I think when Dortmund bought Jude Bellingham, he was 16, playing for Birmingham. They retired the shirt. So yeah, Jobe will turn 20 at the beginning of next season. He won't be in the Championship. He's been playing really well. He's got a few man of the matches. I believe he's been playing in midfield he can play as a forward. I don't think he's like a conventional 9. But yeah, his main position, so yeah, here we go. His main position is central midfield. He can play defensive midfield and he can play attacking midfield. Very much like his brother. He's a transfer market has got him current value at 18 million. You imagine, you know, especially if they get promoted, Sunderland, I guess it would be playoffs, he'd be like 30 million or whatever, 25 million, I imagine. But he's contracted until 2028, and he signed a contract extension in this last summer. I mean, it doesn't really excite me, to be honest, because he's almost in that Andre Santos mold, and no offense to Jobe, who might be amazing. Santos looks like mustard. He looks like the boy. Do you know what I mean? He looks like the guy you want. Look, it's one of those things, right? And this is the vulnerability. I'm not a Chelsea fan. I'm being a football fan. Yeah, that you'd sign Jobe Bellingham, and there would be something quite exciting about that because it's Jude's younger brother. He plays really well. His ceiling looks quite high, and Right, but my original gut visceral reaction to this was, oh no. But I thought he was like a relatively like up and coming striker, like maybe a little bit more cooked than Mark Gue because he's been playing loads of first team football in the rough and tumble of the Championship. But I was like, we don't need like a teenage striker. That's literally the last thing we need. We've got Shimweka. Do you know what I mean? If we get a striker, we buy an Osimhen, we buy a Gyökeres, we buy a Šeško, we buy even, I know they've gone now, but the likes of Gerasis or something like that. That's who I would have wanted, bro. Do you know what I mean? Not another teenage striker. What's that going to do? We need someone with big cojones that's not going to be mentally fragile at some point throughout the season. But again, I don't know, bro. Like, you sell Dewsbury Hall, who, let's be real, has been playing some minutes this season. You Carney Chukwuemeka goes. I'm not the biggest fan of the selling him, but just say it's done. Carney's just not on the plans. And you need that kind of like all-action midfielder. Jobe Bellingham could be quite exciting. Yeah. In that sense, but yeah, as long as it doesn't. As long as this doesn't. This happened last summer, didn't it? We signed a bunch of including bless him Dewsbury Hall. I got nothing against the guy, but we signed a bunch of guys, but he was the highest profile until we signed the 24-year-olds at the end ish of the window. We signed, Pedro Neto, which is a star quality player. We signed Jadon Sancho, high profile for what he's done. He just played in the Champions League final. He scored loads of goals for Dortmund. Granted, there was the Man United nightmare for him, but who hasn't? He's got off the board a little bit, but 25 million quid for Sancho is an absolute stealer for a player who seemingly sorted out his attitude and is just getting his head down. Joao Felix, we could talk about Joao Felix till the ruddy cows come home. Talented player, but it was like a high-profile dopamine hit. Rightly or wrongly, and many of you will probably rightly. God, my brain is getting mixed up. Explain how it wasn't a good move in some ways, but you can understand in terms of just that excitement with names. So with Jobe Bellingham, apart from his surname and his brother, it would be a bit like, but as long as you get the guy, you get the forward. Again, I don't care what Chelsea say. Get me a goalkeeper, And if we're not going to promote within the academy for the moment, buy a left back. Easy. Doesn't cost that much money either, apart from the striker. Guys, let me know what you think. Please leave your thoughts, feelings, emotions, and comments down below. I want to hear your thoughts on everything. Thank you for joining me as always. Happy birthday, Chelsea. And hope to see you back here soon. Peace.